Welcome to my channel. We are going to decode the biggest online part-time job scam happening right now in India. There are thousands of Indians who has become victim in this scam and lost crores of rupees in this scam. One of the early victim who has lost money in this scam has given me the confession and shared his story. He lost his money in COVID-19 pandemic and he has now tracked the total frauds. So he has tracked the early frauds to the sophisticated scam. Let's listen to the entire story. So we have one Mr. Anon who will guide how the scam started in India. So these scams are majorly looting people's by WhatsApp. They used to message and they use a Telegram app and dupe people in crores of rupees. So from past 6 months, these scams have majorly impacted the common people of India. So I have one person who will expose all these scams from when it started. So, Mr. Anon, would you please tell us the story when it started?
Thank you, Tejas. Thank you so much. And as Tejas has said, for the past 6 months, the scams have been in the awareness of people because of the large amounts people are losing. Yeah, but I want to point out over here, the scams are technically not 6 months old, they are 2.5 years old, and I was one of the earlier victims of the scam. So let me tell you how it happened. It was April 2021. I was without a job and desperate. At that time, I got an SMS message saying Facebook is offering me a job for 20,000 rupees per day, and there was a WhatsApp link linking to some number. I clicked on the link. I contacted a person who went by the name of Das, and he said that they have a way of making money, and even I can make money through that. What they do is we have to do certain tasks for e-commerce platforms. More specifically, there are merchants who want the sale of their products to increase so that their ranks are high. But then you don't need to actually buy the product, you need to virtually buy it. That is, pay money, buy the product, and since you are not actually buying it, the merchant will give you back the cost price and a commission because the sale has increased. This is what was called order grabbing. Quite a few of you may be familiar with it. At that time, there was no information, there's just no awareness about this fraud, and I fell for it. So, as you know, what happened was initially I got back money, and I actually made some money out of it. Initially, I made a profit of 10,000. I did to BTT. I deposited 50,000, and that's when the trap started getting laid. I had to pay money to buy the products that the merchant was supposedly asking me to buy. But then the balance often used to be deficit of the amount that I was asked to pay. For example, my account balance is 60,000. I had to buy a product of 80,000 and fulfill the deficit of 20,000 by depositing money. So this was a trap, which I later realized. And in the whole thing, there were quite a few red flags. First and foremost, the job that was offered was not from Facebook. It was something called janisajob.com, which they claimed was a subsidiary of a very famous financial company called BlackRock. And I believe that. Second thing, the person who I was talking to, he only went by the name of Das, nothing else. Now, that's not what generally happens. But since I was desperate to earn money, I believe that. The third thing, he only contacted me through WhatsApp and nothing else. No phone calls ever happened. Each time I tried to call the phone, that number was switched off. So that was fishy, but somehow since I had earned some money, I believed that. So in short, I actually lost 2,30,000 rupees. In fact, I lost 3,40,000 rupees, but I had also earned 1,10,000 rupees. So at that time, I think I know people make money from scams and also lose more, but I was so this 1.10 lakh rupee must be one of the higher amounts that people have made. But in the end, of course, I shut down and I lost money. So this is how it started. This was April 2021, and I was one of the earlier victims. Of course, at that time, Corona second wave was also there, and my thinking was impaired. First, I had lost my job. Second, Corona second wave, the news was really bad. So because of that, maybe I didn't pay attention to whether it's genuine or not, and it was my loss.
So this started from COVID, right?
Yes, definitely.
So there were no jobs available, and there was all companies were doing work from home jobs. So
Yes, so I thought that the work from home job that is being offered may be genuine. And also my site looked good and the name janisajob.com sounded convincing.
so you got trapped due to the
Yes,
fake website.
yes. And I was one of the earlier victims. At that time, there was hardly any awareness.
Yeah. So what happened next after you
Okay.
got to know about that you got
So
scammed?
actually, I didn't even know what scam it was. I thought it was an one-off incident. I was one of the isolated victims, and I was really stupid. But then what happened? June 2021 came, and I read a news. Something called power bank had happened. A power scam by name power bank was exposed, in which people had lost 150 crore rupees. What it was basically, people had deposited in a Ponzi site called Power Bank, and where they were asked to take money, deposit money, and rent power banks in return of money. In reality, there was no power banks in existence. It was just a money rotation scheme, and people deposited money in that scheme, and also two other schemes called Sun Factory and Easy Plan. And the net loss was 150 crores. But what was shocking was that this scam was had not actually originated in India. It had originated in China. And the scammers were using hacked mobile numbers, to talk via WhatsApp to Indian victims. That's when something hit me, that there is some connection between power bank and my site janisa.com. I started digging deep. I saw what power bank was, and I realized it had exactly the same user interface as janisa.com. So I realized these scams are connected. And of course, the Delhi police were celebrating, apprehending the victims, but I knew that the case was far from solved. Some people had been arrested. The CAs who had made fake shell companies for UPI transactions, and the people who they were arrested, and some people who had arranged numbers for WhatsApp communication, they were apprehended. But apart from that, some 7-8 people, it wasn't investigated further. Where the money went, it was still fishy. Later, it was discovered that the money had been sent abroad to overseas account via cryptocurrencies. The money that was deposited in the fake shell company accounts, they were used to buy Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And since cryptocurrencies are untraceable, they were transferred out of India. So this is the main modus operandi. And I realized my scam was related to this. And what happened was, like, I had got the SMS saying Facebook had advertised for a job. I kept getting more SMSs. And I kept seeing more websites. There were similar e-commerce sites, and there were also sites that were renting out products from fish farms to rockets to cars to hotel rooms. I know it's a big set of scams happening. Like, of course, the COVID waves are continuing, but then this wave of scams had also started. And I also read about something from that the Chinese had launched a lot of fake loan apps. I realized that these fake investment apps were the other side of the same coin, and they were particularly being used to target Indians into losing money. So I decided some action had to be taken against it, because if this continued, people will keep losing money and being caught unaware.
So these scams are past means past 2.5 years. This scam started after the cryptocurrencies also started booming in India.
Well, you can say it was related to cryptocurrencies, actually not. So cryptocurrencies had started, booming maybe in 2017-18. This recovery was a direct effect of COVID. Now, what happened was, I came into contact with a group of people who had lost money in such scams, especially order grabbing and all. That is, fake e-commerce stars formed a group, and I started talking to cyber cops. This group had made me come in contact with cyber cops. The leader of this group was a man named Prakash. Now, the name is not Prakash, but I'm using that name to protect his identity. Prakash had lost 7.2 lakh rupees. That was one of the highest amounts heard till then. This is September 2021. Now, he had formed this group, and he was really up against the scammers. He was talking to cyber police from different states, and these policemen said that there was an organized ring behind it. I also tried to find out more, and sometime later there was an article published at vicenews.com saying that there are places in Southeast Asia like Cambodia or say Philippines or Myanmar where industrial scale scam operations take place. How? There are Chinese criminals. Like I said, there's a Chinese connection which I discovered, but I didn't discover how it was. Now, what had happened was these Chinese criminals who were wanted in their own company, they led to Southeast Asia where the laws are weak, and they set up casinos and gambling operations. But COVID came, and because of COVID, people stopped physically visiting these casinos. That's when they turned into cybercrime and started targeting people everywhere. Now, the irony is that the initial target were the Chinese themselves. The Chinese were the first targets, but later they expanded their sites to Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, and eventually India. In fact, they also targeted Europeans and Indians by a slightly different modus operandi. Modus operandi wasn't online jobs or investments, it was online romance. There are people who actually took efforts to make people fall in love online, to make their victims fall in love online. So for this romance continued 4 months, and then they later introduced the victim to a fake investment site, usually related to cryptocurrencies. In fact, there's a term for it as well, pig butchery. But now that's not the most shocking part of it. The shocking part is that the people who are doing it are victims themselves. Like, they are actually victims of human trafficking. They were lured by jobs in the Southeast Asian countries like Thailand and all. Once they reached there, they were abducted and forced to work in the scam centers with their passports taken away. And they were forced to work maybe 20 hours a day. And if they didn't meet their quota of a certain number of victims, they were even subject to physical abuse. That's what the Vice News article reported. And also there were a lot of efforts to rescue these people. Like there's an organization in Singapore called Global Anti-Scam Operations. They have rescued people mostly from China and sent quite a few back home. And also Indians, as you may have noticed, there are people who are able to speak in Hindi and other regional languages because even Indians are working over here. Indians are working at these centers, and there have been reports, if you read, that so and so has been rescued from a scam operation in Myanmar. So even Indians who were lured to these countries in the name of jobs and forced to scam Indians. So this is how the scam operations have been taking place. Ultimately, both are victims: the people who lose money and the people who are forced to do these scams. So unless it is stopped, it's a big loss for humanity.
So, how did the scams evolve along the way? Means they started from past 2.5 years ago. So
Yes.
now what they have done in
So actually,
yes.
for the last 2 years, the scams were mostly related to fake e-commerce tasks and fake rentals like power bank and all. So I saw so many what you call fake sites in the name of actual brands like like Infosys, Tesla, SpaceX, even United Nations. There were products on rent. Of course, no actual product existed, but they claimed that your money can be made if you rent them. Like there were mining machines, and there were even products that have not been invented yet by like advertising machines. There was a scam called New Mobile Media, of course, a scam in this whole series where you could rent advertising machines, and it was being perpetrated in the name of AT&T. Now, AT&T themselves had denied that they are not associated with New Mobile Media, yet people fell for it. Ultimately, some 100 crore loss happened. That AT&T, New Mobile Media used to have events in hotels. Means the people associated with the scam, they had events in hotels. And as it happens, the victims and lead to more victims. Once you are a victim, and I don't know how it happens, people get others to join them. And I am unable to sell a genuine product to 20 people, but these people get 2,000, 20,000 people under them and make them deposit in fake schemes. I don't know how this happens, and it actually hurts. So this is what the modus operandi was since the last 2 years. But since last 6 months, something has happened. They realized perhaps that this is an old technique. Let's modify the same technique and make even more money. So what they did, movie rating scam. Then then what you call Google rating scams, YouTube like, Instagram like, which you are all aware of, and it came into the attention because people started losing more money. Now it's actually these scams are not an old scam; they are just the new versions of the same scam. Their UIs are exactly identical as before, just a name here and there. Now, like I had to do fake e-commerce tasks which involve buying products. Over here, in fake movie rating scams, you have to pay money to rate a movie. Now, how silly is that?
Yes.
No movie company asks you to pay money to rate a movie, and especially a movie like Godfather that released 50 years ago. No one would want to boost the rating of that movie. Or no one would ask you to boost a rating of a tourist place by paying money. This is silly. And my deposit started low with 10,000 and all. But over here, the deposit starts very high, 2 lakh, 10 lakh, and people have lost really astronomical amounts. Also, a variant is this YouTube like, which starts with paying say 50 rupees for a YouTube like, then you are asked to do prepaid merchant tasks where you have to boost cryptocurrencies by paying an amount, and that escalates. People end up losing a lot. So I have been reading the news. People have been losing 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, to 50 lakhs. 2 or 3 news reports even claim more than 1 crore. Now there was a psychology professor who lost 40 lakh rupees. there was an ad filmmaker that lost 1 crore rupees. Now, these people are much more experienced in human psychology. They know how the mind works. Now, if they fall victims and lose so many lakhs, imagine what the common people will do. I thought, I lost 2.3 lakhs. That was a very high amount. Prakash, my friend, he lost 7.2 lakhs. That was a very big amount. But now,
One army veteran lost 2.5 crore in Pune.
Well, imagine 2.5 crore rupees in Pune. Because there is this skill that reaches our brain. Like when I realized that I am being asked to deposit again and again, I realized it was a scam and I stopped when I lost 2.3 lakhs. I know that any more deposit is going to make me lose money again, so I stopped. Though they kept saying deposit more and you will get it back, but I stopped. For me, it was 2.3 lakhs. For Prakash, it was 7.2 lakhs. It's different for different amount, but I don't know how people, you started because you wanted to earn, but you kept depositing. Why do people, go to multiple lakhs? Why do they have to lose multiple lakhs before they realize this is a scam? I don't know.
Okay. So you have been investigating these scams for more than 2 years, but you have decided to stay mostly anonymous. What do you have to say?
I lost 2.3 lakhs. Now that was a loss, but more than loss, it was a matter of shame. It was shameful to tell people that I had lost, and hardly anyone in my friend circle, my real friend circle, knows I have been doing this activity and I lost money. My family doesn't know, and almost none of my friends know, except maybe one or two close ones. So that's the reason I stayed anonymous, because the shame was too much. And especially given my qualification, I'm supposed to be an educated person, and if I fall for it, what will happen to the average man? But then, as I realized, even more experienced people have fallen for it. So, this is what I can say. And some things I would like to advise people on how to recognize whether it's a scam or not. Because from what I've studied, these scams take a few forms. One is gambling, like color trading apps, which you may be familiar with. Now, these color trading apps are also run by the same group of scammers. How do I know that? Because they have the same UI. Now, these color trading or any form of gambling, no one can predict what the gambling outcome is going to be. Why? Because gambling outcomes are based on random numbers. If anyone claims he can analyze using AI or some other technique to predict gambling outcomes, that person is lying. It's a scam. Don't fall for it. Second thing, gambling works because some people make money because others lose. Now imagine if all people make money all the time, where will the money come from? Money doesn't fall from the sky. So hence, if someone says, with gambling you can get guaranteed returns, that's a lie. Third, a variation of the same scam is BTC contract trading, where you have to guess whether the market, be it a price of a stock or a currency pair, is going to go up or down within the next 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Now, let me tell you one thing, that in this small duration of 5 minutes, any market movement is completely random. No analysis, technical or fundamental, can show how the market is going to be in this short time duration. So any analysis is fake. It's not more accurate than the toss of a coin. If anyone says you can make money like that, that's a scam. Fourth thing, companies, any genuine company won't have earning apps. Why? They are illegal because of two acts. One is Unregulated Deposit Schemes Act 2019. I may have got the name wrong, but it's something like that. And second is Banning of Price Chits and Money Circulation Act 1978. Because of this, no company can raise capital through earning apps. They have only two ways: either issue shares or float bonds. So Apart from bonds and shares, if any company is taking deposits, it's a scam. So that means all these power bank apps or other earning apps are a scam. Fifth thing is this: money doesn't fall from the sky. So anyone who is giving guaranteed returns at a very high rate, that's a scam. Banks give a interest rate of maximum say 9% a year. That also to special groups like senior citizens or physically handicapped. Otherwise, the deposit rates are 26%. Anything that gives a rate that guarantees more. I've seen schemes that say 2% per day. It's of course a scam. Banks don't generate money. How can these people generate so much amount? So that's a red flag that you have to consider. And finally, the way to earn money is not through earning apps. Internet is not the way. At least the one in earning apps on the internet are not the way. If you have to make money, learn some skill, give value to either an organization or to the society. Everyone, be it your neighboring Fortune Wala or Elon Musk, they have done the same thing. They have created value by delivering something that people need. Do that, you will make money. And ultimately, the scams won't stop till we stop being greedy. It's our greed and our desperation that people take advantage of. And finally, of course, action has to be taken. There are YouTube influencers who promote scams. I don't know why no action is taken against them. There are people who register fake companies and act as money mules for these scammers. Why is no action taken against them? I don't know. And there are people who arrange uh, numbers to be hacked for use in WhatsApp communication. Now, this is the implication is much more than a financial scam. Imagine if WhatsApp numbers are being hacked for use by some external agency. It speaks low of our IT security. Investigate this. Now, in during my times, most of the numbers were Indians with some British or American numbers in between. But now I have noticed a lot of messages come from numbers in vague countries like South Africa, Burkina Faso, Kenya, Vietnam, Sri Lanka. Why do you have to fall for this? If someone is offering you a job or an investment scheme from a number that you know nothing of course it's not real. In 2021 April, there was hardly any awareness, and my website sounded elegant. But now, the names of these websites, the scam websites, are so obviously fake. Like there is Amazon, Amazon210.com. Now, what is Amazon210.com? There is no such website even there. Or Snapdealshop.com, or there are so many funny names. I don't know why you have to fall for them. And it's quite clear it is fake. So 2.5 years have happened since these scams are going on. Now, of course, because the people losing a huge amount, it's more on focus. But at least it's time it should be stopped. Both people have to show resistance and authorities need to take action. That's all from my side.
So, Mr. Anon, what you will suggest to people, means those who have fallen for this scam and now they want to recover money from this scam. So, what do you
First and
suggest?
foremost, the guideline says report it to the cyber police. Of course, the thing is that you must have heard things like 24 hours is the golden hour. If you can report it within 24 hours, the UPI transaction may be stopped and you have a chance to recover money. In some cases, the accounts have been frozen and people actually have been able to recover money. But then there have been a few and far between. Mostly, more than 90% of the time, people have lost money. And what I can say, if you gain back money, it's well and good. But don't try to recover money through another scam, through another earning app. This is what the YouTube influencer will tell you. And there are so many fake ones out there who should be put behind bars. Don't fall for them. If you have lost money in one scam, don't deposit in another scam. This is what you can do.
So
And also listen to the good influencers like we have you over here, Mr. Tejas Davare. There is Ajay Singh, there is Cyber Rakshak, there is Ketan Indori, and there is Informatic Technology. Watch their videos and get awareness. Now, don't blame the lack of awareness. Blame your greed and your desperation if you are losing today. Thank you so much for doing a good job, you and some very few other influencers, where most of them are selling bullshit to us. At least you are doing a good job. Thank you so much.
yes, thank you, Mr. Anand.
Most
So,
welcome. I hope people.
I thank
learn
you
something.
very much for your whole story and exposing all these scams. So people will be now much more aware, so they will not fall into these scams anymore. So thank you very much for your
I hope that
guidance.
is really the case because it's been a lot of time this has been happening and it should stop. Okay.
People are now not more aware, they will still fall into this scam if they are not means uh, getting themselves aware. The
Yes.
people will fall into these scams.
Yeah, awareness is the key.
Yes, awareness is the key. You cannot blame to government also now because
Yes,
our
because government has actually done. The cyber police has had a lot of advertising campaigns saying
Yes.
that these are scams. If you still fall for it, who is to blame?
Yes, you cannot blame now.
Okay,
So,
Tejas, it was
thank
nice
you.
talking to you. Take care.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.